What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Yesterday, we had that general Nintendo Direct, and there were more than 40 games that were announced, and the internet was kind of all over the place on how they felt about this one, but we'll go over it line by line here today, and that does include the major closeout that is going to make the end of 2026 quite interesting. Oh, and we also had Microsoft talk a bit more around their exclusive strategy and their plans heading into their next generation Helix device, and it still has people looking at them a bit sideways with some skepticism, but we'll go over all of that and more. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps out a ton, and if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. Guys, we're every weekday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, going over the world of gaming news, trying to keep you up to date. Just know, even if there's not a notification in the morning, there's probably a video here to check out. And we're going to start today with Final Fantasy, kind of a random announcement that happened. Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remaster is getting a Switch 2 edition. Yeah, there's an entire page you can see. Now, this is over on Nintendo's site for the X and X-2 HD Remaster. Now, this Switch 2 edition will be releasing on the 23rd of July. All right, and they have it set up here at $50. The thing that's a little strange is like your save data doesn't really carry over. So from like the Switch 1. So I'm not really sure what the deal is with that. Although Square, this has kind of been their thing, right? And I don't really know why that is exactly, but I mean, it's a great game, 10 and 10 too. I really like 10, and I'm actually playing back through it now already. I fired it back up this time on the PS5 to go through it, and it's still very good. I put out a tweet that's like, hey, I think 10 should be the next remake that Square goes out and attempts. And I say that because I think it'd be a bit easier for them to handle after the 7 remake trilogy now, versus going way back in time and trying to what would end up being more of a reimagining outright for something like 6. I know that's what people are asking for. 10 just seems like something that's kind of already lined up on the tee for them to knock out of the park. Unless they get weird about it, and then maybe it is a bad idea. But 10 is pretty cool. For this, though, you have to think about it a little bit, because they've re-released this game multiple times, and here's just another one on the Switch 2 at $50. Also, we got a bit more evidence here for Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and 2 seemingly get a re-release. So we can see, now this is over on Twitter from Forward, saying that Call of Duty Black Ops and Black Ops 2 on the PS5 file sizes were shown here, 22.7 gigabytes and 30.3 gigabytes. And these appear to be just complete ports of the old games, which has multiplayer. So they're saying like zombies should be in there, the whole thing. Trophies should be the exact same, I guess, as the PS3 version. It's strange stuff, because we thought this would be at the Direct. Made a ton of sense. It wasn't. So I don't really know what's happening with this. I will say I like the idea of going back and playing like old Call of Duty Black Ops. Definitely a nostalgia trip, sure, but I mean, this would have a rush of people coming back to the servers, because if you look on the PlayStation 5, it's like it's a PS3 version that's not then compatible on the PS5. Now on the Xbox Series, you can play 360 backwards compatibility. I would like to see a full re-release across the board on all different platforms, cross-play the whole thing. It'd be like way back in the day during the 360 era, just Call of Duty Online, which is awesome, but also probably a really bad thing at the same time. Oh, and we did now find out who is making Star Fox. This we can see over on their official account from Velan Studios, saying we've been passionately working on this one for a while, and we're so proud to finally share it with the world. Velan Studios is the developer of Star Fox, and I did not see that one coming. It looks like no one else did either. Quick backstory, Velan Studios is known for games like Mario Kart Live, Home Circuit, Knockout City, Midnight Murder Club. So, I mean, yeah, it makes sense why no one really had that on their board as, okay, this is who's developing Star Fox. But that's kind of what makes these sort of collaborations interesting for Nintendo, as they do scout out and work with different studios. And yeah, occasionally you'll see their names pop up for what should be a pretty serious project with Star Fox. And I mean, if you played the demo, this is pretty good so far. So I'm really looking forward to this game here in a couple of weeks, picking it up day one physically. So, hey, so far, again, congratulations to Velan Studios. We'll see how this game launches, though, here coming up at the end of the month. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with that Nintendo Direct. It went on for more than 50 minutes, and there were more than 40 games shown here. I actually went through and like counted each one, went back and made sure I had like all the different games here, including through that sizzle reel. So I'm going to go through every game that was announced here, and then I'm going to do a separate section for the big closeout title that has a lot of people buzzing online currently, but we'll start from the top here, and that's with Rhythm Heaven Groove. Now, it seems funny to open with a Switch 1 game, but it's coming up fast for them after Star Fox, so I guess they're thinking, let's at least put it front and center here, but different modes that include, it looks like a turn-based RPG almost mixed with the rhythm elements, so I don't know, kind of a fun little twist there on the gameplay. 4-player co-op and also competitive games, and that's coming out July 2nd. Onimusha Way of the Sword is indeed coming to the Switch 2. They have Joy-Con motion controls, and it'll launch same time as the other systems, September 25th. Dragon's Dogma 2 Dark Arisen, that is coming out October 9th. They also seem to have updates going to the other platforms as well. So interesting one there, as I remember Dragon's Dogma 2 did have quite a few issues, especially on the PC side, where there were some problems with the CPU and performance was scattershot, to put it lightly. So that'll be one just in terms of how does it perform on the Switch 2 that people I'm sure will be curious about. Stellar Blade breaks away from specifically the PS5 in this case for console exclusivity, making its way to the Switch 2 in 2026. Orbitals got its release date September 3rd, and you know what? The more I've seen this game, I think the more and more interested I am in it now, and I will say part of that is because it is co-op, and actually one of my kids is now getting old enough to where we can play these kind of games together. Like Split Fiction was a lot of fun, so I think I'm going to go for it here with Orbitals, and it looks like the physical edition will have the full game on the cartridge from what I was seeing with the box art, so that looks like a day one pickup there for some co-op fun. Rayman Legends Retold was here. Seen it again now, October 1st. Big Walk still looks weird, but hey, it's House, so that makes sense. Mouse controls, cross-platform play is all confirmed, August 4th. One Piece Grand Gourmet. It's like in this 8-bit pixel art style, and you run a big floating restaurant in the One Piece universe. They said there's over 400 characters that appear in the game. Mouse controls will be enabled, and it's coming out October 23rd. Very, very random, but I'm sure One Piece fans were pretty excited to see that randomness. Pacopia, it's getting DLC. There's a free update where you build towns underwater. That is available August 2026. And then there's an expansion pass paid DLC, Bubbly Basin, that's available right now. There's also part 2 that'll be happening with this expansion pass in late 2026, and then part 3 in 2027. Next, we have Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. They have 4 different heroes that they showed off here. We have Kai, Dietrich, Theodora, Lita, and each character has their own story, and you can spend your free time how you want. They showed like exploring in this overworld setting, where you can level up your characters and then go fight in like the big arena that I guess will push along the main storyline, or you can go around and find different treasures in the world. And yes, it's Fire Emblem, so it's a strategy turn-based RPG. September 17th, there is a special edition that's launching the same day, and I saw people looking at like the collector's edition. Interesting about Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, guess what? It's another $80 game from Nintendo, and they lulled me to sleep a little bit with the variable pricing where it looked like recent examples like Star Fox. Oh, okay, maybe this is cheaper digitally and it's just the normal price physically. Not this time. Fire Emblem, $80 physical, $70 digital. That seems kind of crazy for Nintendo to attempt that with Fire Emblem, but they probably realize, you know what? The fan base for Fire Emblem are very, very into the series, and they might even just decide to go for the, I think it was $120 collector's edition. And there you go. If that's the case, you probably don't care if the normal one is $80 anyway. That was an interesting one to see attempt the $80 price point. We have Ninjala, that's Ninjala 2, that's the Uncharted Planet. Open world action adventure. They have Gum that lets you traverse the world. They were swinging around, and they also create weapons out of the stuff. 4-player local or online multiplayer, spring 2027. DK Challenge, this is you take on challenges in these different Donkey Kong games and Nintendo Switch Online they were showing off, and when you complete the challenges, you get collectible cards that kind of feels like almost achievements or trophies, but it is a limited time event, so it's on right now and it'll run until September 1st, so it seems like it's kind of a summertime event. And then they have DK Bonanza outfits in the DLC expansion pack that are Mario and Luigi themed. Jujutsu Kaisen Rumble Survivation. It looks like Vampire Survivors, right? It's the kind of gameplay they're going for here, but it's more of a multiplayer focused style. So you have 8 players online, more than 20 characters, and I guess guess you whittle it down to 2 people battling it out if they've leveled up and gained all kinds of abilities and weapons and just gotten overall stronger. That's coming out 2026. Lords of the Fallen 2 heading to the Switch 2 fall 2026. Lies of P Complete Edition, that's digital, August 6th. A physical version will be coming later on October 2nd. Devil May Cry 5 Devil Hunter Edition, we saw this rated, so not too surprising. Still kind of odd that, okay, Devil May Cry 5 is now coming out on the Switch too, but Capcom's going crazy here, so why not? June 23rd. That one might also be digital only, by the way. I was looking and I wasn't seeing a physical edition of this one. Muramasa, Evident Blades, pretty fun surprise here, I feel like. That's out in 2027. Xenoblade Chronicles. We finally got Switch 2 editions across the board here. Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3 will all be seeing Switch 2 enhancements through, it looks like $10 expansion packs, so you can upgrade that if you already own them. Otherwise, it seems like they're going to sell physical copies that are reprinted with the update on board for the Switch 2. 4K 60 docked, 1080p 60 handheld mode. I'm sure people will be testing this one out to see if it's like Xenoblade Chronicles X. I kind of hope it's not necessarily, but I guess we'll see. There's also additional features and content for each game, and they'll have more details at a later date. So we have Xenoblade 1 that's available right now, Xenoblade 2 that's July 30th, and then Xenoblade 3, which I think could have a really, really good showing here because the game already looks awesome on the Switch 1. That'll be December 3rd. And then we immediately go into Monolith Soft's big project, and that is indeed a new Xenoblade game. This is Xenoblade Genesis. So they have it taking place at, looks like, an academy. And I mean, look, I will say this, they're running around the world. Looks like another massive Monolith Soft game. It's what they do. Coming out in 2027. I'm a little disappointed that it's more Xenoblade because I feel like Monolith Soft can probably do other things too. But hey, look, they're seeing success with a growing franchise with Xenoblade. So in their mind, it's like, why not just kind of continue that here? So, hey, Xenoblade fans, I'm sure, very, very excited. I mean, just RPG fans in general. This is kind of like your direct right now. But then we go into Nintendo Switch Sports Resort, 12 different sports to choose from, all using motion controls: boxing, table tennis, archery, tennis, volleyball, bowling, basketball, golf, thumb wrestling, skateboarding, power cruising, prop plane, jump rope. They had Koizumi lose thumb wrestling for what seemed like a very prolonged time period there, but all right. You can use your Mii characters, and it's coming out October 22nd. RuneScape Dragon Wilds, that's September 15th. Hello Kitty Party Land on October 29th. Star Fox shown again here June 25th, but hold on. There's a demo you can try out right now, and it's pretty good, okay? Final Fantasy Resonance. I like what I'm seeing here, by the way. This is a Final Fantasy game in HD2D. It's the first one. The cutscenes, interesting in the style, kind of meshing with that HD pixelated look. I think it's kind of cool. And you can summon characters from previous Final Fantasy games, and they're kind of done in like the cutscene style from that game. So they showed Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, like the remake trilogy there. That's October 22nd. I'll check that one out day one. I think it looks really cool. Then we have Pikuniku. That's Pikuniku 2, 2027. Dragon Quest Monsters Withered World, December 3rd. The Duskbloods, closed network test, summer 2026. That was kind of it. Very odd stuff there, but all right. Splatoon Raiders, there's a dedicated direct coming June 30th. It's coming out July 23rd. There's new Joy-Con 2 controllers, blue and yellow. Deltarune Chapter 5, that's a June 24th release. It's a free update. Metaphor ReFantazio, that's November 12th. Minecraft Switch 2 Edition, they said there's vibrant visuals, enhanced lighting, and shadow effects, and your Switch world can be carried over, so no issues there. 2026 on that one. Then we go into the sizzle reel. Okay, we have Atelier Caria, that's early 2027. Space Marine 2, holiday 2026. Observer System Redux, June 18th. Days, or DayZ, that's in 2026. Metal Gear Master Collection Volume 2, August 27th. Rise of the Tomb Raider, out now. That game's awesome. It's a little old, but awesome game if you haven't played it. I'd recommend it there. Tales of Eternia Remastered, that's October 16th. SnowRunner, out now. Fitness Boxing 3, July 16th. Everbloom, spring 2027. And Final Fantasy XIV, the early access, starts August 2026. Okay, moving forward here. The Kingdom Hearts Collection, it's been cloud-based up until, well, actually October, where we will have native versions that they'll be releasing for the Switch 2. So Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, 2.8. Kingdom Hearts 3, there's a free demo available now. And the cloud versions on the Switch can transfer save data over. To my understanding, though, you have to buy the games again. It's like 50% off, but still really annoying. So there you go. Hey, if you've held out from the cloud versions, you're probably just really excited to see this because That's a lot of Kingdom Hearts in one package, but they weren't done because Kingdom Hearts 4 made its legendary reappearance, okay? And that is available at launch on the Switch 2. Pretty big get there for Nintendo, but I mean, at this point, Square, we know they're trying to get their games as many places as they can, and it seems like they're running headfirst into the Switch 2 as fast as possible. So yeah, I'd expect Square to be fully on board with the Switch 2 going forward. Keep an eye out for Final Fantasy 17 whenever that's ready to be shown, because I think you're going to see a Switch 2 logo there as well. Now, they had a big reveal after that, which we'll get to here in a moment, but then they closed out with Devin Pritchard actually introducing herself, like fully in video form there. I think it was actually a good showing for her to, you know, make an appearance and say, hey, I'm kind of leading Nintendo of America now. So overall, the Direct itself, barring this massive reveal at the end, is kind of okay. I mean, look, more than 40 games were shown there, and if you're an RPG fan, this was probably incredible. But if you were going in looking for kind of a direction for Nintendo with their first-party side, and you're someone who's like, oh, I want, you know, Mario, the Zelda, like new Zelda, those kinds of games, then you're probably leaving this like, okay. But if you're someone who heavily relies on their Switch 2 for third-party games, or you're really into Fire Emblem or Xenoblade, this is probably an awesome Direct for you, and I'll actually talk a bit more about my letter grade later on because that was the poll question. Next up, let's talk about the big reveal at the end, and that indeed was The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. They didn't put remake on the title at all, but either way, it hit pretty hard. It moved quite a bit on social media. Like you can see, this is just the message that Nintendo put out after the trailer had aired, saying The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time will be reborn on Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026. More than 16 million views in like 12 hours. It's kind of going ridiculous on social media right now. People are very, very excited for this, but also a lot of questions flying around right now, and why wouldn't they be? Nintendo really didn't show anything, and that was the strangest part about this Direct. Two massive games that are coming out this year, being the Duskbloods, and then The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Reborn apparently. They showed a combined, I don't know, 20 to 30 seconds of them, and we're still trying to figure out what Ocarina of Time is even doing here. Is it a one-to-one remake? Is it a reimagining? I mean, they're saying Reborn, they're specifically not saying remake, so yeah, I think they're going to be changing some stuff in this game, quite a bit actually. We already see the art style, more realistic. I don't mind it because I get a little concerned that we were going to see this trailer happen and it was going to be a chibi version of Link, and that'd be a choice. But here it looks like they're taking this pretty seriously. I'll be curious to see what studio or studios were working on this game, because it is indeed coming out in 2026, and they say more details coming at a later date, which makes me believe we are going to see like a big Zelda Direct for the 40th anniversary, and it wouldn't shock me if it's as soon as next month. I guess you could go up to August, but I kind of think Ocarina of Time is out in November, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was like within a week of GTA 6. I just don't really think Nintendo cares that much if Grand Theft Auto is around Ocarina of Time, because guess what? Many people are going to buy both, and that's it. It's like, oh, well, it's Ocarina of Time. I kind of have to buy it because it's kind of that sense of, you know, I've been playing games. I'm a gamer for a while now. This is kind of like mandatory buy for just the history of the whole thing. Again, provided Nintendo shows up with something that looks really good, and I think they will. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Leaving the Direct is like, what exactly is this with Ocarina of Time? So I guess in a sense for marketing, people are left wanting more, and that's a strategy. I just would have liked to have seen gameplay or just something with Ocarina of Time. And maybe that's why the Direct itself, I look at and go, okay, it was fine. If they had like 5 minutes of Ocarina of Time and here's all the cool stuff that's happening and it looked really good, that'd probably bump it up at least a full letter grade for me. But some odd head-scratching decisions when it comes to the two, I think, biggest games for this year for Nintendo going into the holiday season with Duskbloods and Ocarina of Time. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Microsoft and Matthew Ball, who actually talked a bit over on, this was the Game Business Live during the whole Summer Game Fest stuff, and he opened up somewhat about Xbox and their current strategy. We can see this though. This is over on GameSpot. where they say the Xbox new Chief Strategy Officer Matthew Ball spoke about some of the company's biggest moves recently, going on to say Xbox players can expect a reliable pipeline of Xbox exclusives that validates their historical investment in the Xbox platform and keeps them there. Ball talked about the Xbox hardware business, pushing back against the idea that it's a dying market for Microsoft. We have no desire to move away from the console business. We are making an investment in our platform, the console platform, that is going to be strengthened by these exclusives. He went on to acknowledge that certain Xbox exclusives will sell fewer units than they might otherwise if they were multi-platform, but that is a short-term issue, and making these changes will help Xbox's console business grow in the future. We are producing them as quickly as possible. This is a severe limitation how quickly we can do that. But it's not a question of appetite. That is a privilege as a company. It's a challenge for us to figure out. How will this all impact Project Helix? Ball said, we are working very hard to rethink everything that we can about Helix, which is a console we are committed to shipping. And a lot of questions around Helix because we're anticipating like a pretty serious price tag. Like some are saying $1,200 or more. That's going to be a difficult sell, but one way to do it, exclusive titles. And if it does fit in more so to like the pre-build kind of, I guess the pre-build category to a degree, because it's still going to be a console that you're not going to necessarily, I assume, open up and start changing out parts freely. But if they have a somewhat closed ecosystem on the hardware, but with the software, you can legitimately just run Windows. Yeah, there could be people there who are like, oh, well, I'll pick that up instead of spending crazy amounts of like much higher above market value for building a PC right now, provided the Helix is capable. Now, for the Xbox, he also mentioned that they lost millions of subscribers when they moved the price tag up so aggressively to $30 per month for Game Pass. Obviously, so in this way of them removing Call of Duty, they seem to have a bit more interest now in Game Pass. And once again, the price went down. Not everyone, I think, that was subscribed to Game Pass was like, finally, Call of Duty is in here. Some were. But I think those people are just going to buy Call of Duty anyway. So if it's just cheaper each month, and then when you get to the end of the year, it kind of adds up to the price of Call of Duty and what you're saving, there you go. Like, they're good. But they still need to do a lot of work with exclusives, convincing consumers, I think, to come back to the Xbox brand with exclusives that actually stay on the platform, and their ability to deliver a system that can at least somewhat meet the budget-oriented gamer. Maybe that's through cloud. Maybe they got a trick up their sleeve for a cheaper Project Helix, but a lot of questions still to answer going into the next generation from Microsoft. And before we go to the comment of the day, we'll take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I ask, give the Nintendo Direct a grade. Okay, B is just leading the way here at 34%, but then A is 33%, 23% at C, 10% at D. I saw a lot of people in the comments who were just flat out excited for Ocarina of Time remake. They're like, we're getting Ocarina of Time, and it's not like the 3DS one. I know people are like, oh, it was already on the 3DS. Like, yeah, I know, but it's like, you blow that image up now, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right, it was on like the small, like 240p screen for the 3DS. Now this seems pretty serious. Again, the limited footage that we saw there of, we could even say maybe in-engine or just whatever you want to call it there, but like the idea of that art style being a more realistic tone, this isn't going to be some like, oh, we're going to, slim down the budget to make this work. No, I think they're putting a lot behind this game, and they should. It's Ocarina of Time, so that's, of course, going to nudge, I think, a lot of people up at least a single letter grade. If they showed more of it, I'd say, you know what? Wow, this is a pretty good Direct. Still, though, I'm kind of in that B to B minus territory. If Ocarina of Time Remake had an incredible showing and then it was in the treehouse and it's like, this is insane, we're playing this in 4 months or something, yeah, maybe it's a B plus, maybe even an A minus, but unfortunately, that was not the case. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Scottish, who says, forget about AI, I'm more upset that Crazy Taxi has no Pizza Huts. How's Pizza Hut doing nowadays? I have to ask that because I know Pizza Hut was in Crazy Taxi back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. Pizza Hut was kind of everywhere. I don't really see Pizza Hut around that much anymore. In fact, there was a Pizza Hut up the street from me. I didn't realize it's just gone now. I say I don't realize I don't really like go to Pizza Hut much, so maybe that could be part of it. But I don't really ever hear people talk about Pizza Hut much. Again, it was a big deal. I remember for the PS1 because you had the demo disc, but like even doing the reading, like you'd read books and get a pizza if you read enough of them. And I just don't really see that kind of buzz about Pizza Hut anymore. So it kind of makes sense to a degree. Again, Five Guys though, I I don't know, I guess people go to Five Guys. I'm not the biggest like fast food person. So there you go. Not really gonna hit the same nostalgia bone as, oh, here's Pizza Hut in Crazy Taxi from the 90s, but apparently it's Five Guys time now. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. If you missed yesterday's Newswave, I'll leave it up here in a card. Or maybe you wanted to hear my immediate reaction after the Direct ended yesterday. I did a video on that, and I'll leave it right below. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.